everybody, thanks for coming back. You got Kim and Gypsy here, and we want to tell you why we have had to file a lawsuit against the Vermont State Police and them individually due to the personal injury lawsuits. I'm going to keep it kind of short, but I'm going to tell you what happened the past couple of months and what's happened in the past that has led up to these lawsuits against Vermont State Police. Now, Gypsy happens to be a service dog, and she's been affected immensely by everything that's happened here. And the story that we're going to share with you starts with, we're going to tell you, the Vermont State Police has a mission statement. Their mission statement is to individually and collectively serve and protect by providing the highest quality of professional law enforcement services. Now, let me just tell you what we've experienced. All right, Jib? Just the past month, we experienced a lot of misconduct, retaliation, pounding on the doors late at night, all during hours of the day. I have contacted Internal Affairs for Vermont State Police, as they're the ones that are conducting this kind of activity, as well as being directed through the Derby Police Barracks. So I contacted the Vermont Law School, who apparently is overseeing the Vermont State Police. And I spoke with William Sheets, and I emailed him everything that I had been reporting. Now, mind you, back in 2019, I reported a sexual assault that happened to me in Island Pond, Vermont, by the guy that I was renting a cabin from. He's also the one that may have been the one that cut the coil spring on the back of my car, and it broke going down the road, and I had to call a rescue. He may have also been the one that took the bolt out of my car, and the A-frame dropped, and I had to have rescue. Thankfully, Gypsy and I made it through every bit of it. How? Because we travel with Jesus. Now, with that being said, my dog was very ill. She and I have Lyme disease. She was not able to go to the bathroom for a few days because she was down and depressed and cowering every time she heard a noise, and she shouldn't have had to go through that. Nor should I. I have a pacemaker. I have PTSD from being beat on by males that think they have authority because they wear a badge. With that being known and told and verified through my medical records, I have no reason to doubt and all reason to believe that they committed acts of misconduct, retaliation. And why? Well, because I filed charges against Jeffrey Noyes for the fact that he threatened my life. Came right up to me in public and threatened my life. I went to Dollar General. They didn't do anything about it. They said they don't have video cameras. I called Ace Hardware. They're friends of them, so they're not going to tell me anything anyways. But we're going to check into that, because I will subpoena and find out how far everybody's video cameras on that one surveil. Because Dollar General says they only surveil the doorway, and that's the same thing that Ace Hardware told me. So I'm going to subpoena it, and we'll find out who's lying. So, knowing that they never did anything about Mark Nolan, however he wants to pronounce his name at the day and time, I guess. So anyways, he's the guy that is a suspect for burning his own house in Holland, Vermont. And I sent them pictures because, why? Because I came into the cabin one day and it was a very negative feeling. My dog was tracking over into the wood pile area, and I look up and I see that there's a hole in the wall that wasn't there when I left. And so why was it there when I came back? And little pieces of particle stuff around the floor basin of the wood stove. So Of course I reported it. I live a mile up in the woods at the time, and I was by myself off grid, and I had some negative activity working against me, and it just seemed to be that every time that it was happening, Mark Newell was around. Coincidence? Maybe. I don't know. Probably not, because he also took my dog and dropped her off at the end of the road, and then I was able to find her over in Guildhall because a farmer picked her up momentarily after she had been dropped off at the end of the road. Gypsy would never take off on her own like that. Anyways, that was reported to Vermont State Police, and do you know, still till this day, Robert McKenna, I have a message from him telling me in email that Jeremy Hill was assigned to the case and that he would be in contact. But he also told me that it was going to take a while. It's already taken long enough a while, okay? So therefore, that's a violation of my rights. It's a violation of power. They're on power trips as far as I can tell, and anybody else that's started dealing with Vermont State Police can probably coincide with what I'm telling you in the power trips and the illegal shit that they do to people and against people. So I named a girl, Trooper Amy Basari, LeClaire now. She's from the Derby Barracks. She wrote false statements. I have a copy of it. She said that she couldn't contact me. She never tried contacting me when she came up with a fake, fictitious warrant. Might not have been fake, but it certainly was fictitious. Full of lies. Got a warrant to take my children into custody for DCF, saying that I had abandoned them. Stating on her claim, I have a copy of it, that she couldn't contact me. They all knew where I was. That's the reason why I filed against Mary Hare as well, in Brighton Elementary School as well, as a supervisory. And there's more to come. So then I named more in the lawsuit because why? Because back in November 2019, I filed complaints, and they weren't going through. My mail was missing from the United States Postal Carrier. He was going through my mail. I had pictures of it. I had it on surveillance on my phone, as well as another little camera, battery-operated camera that was in the tree and is now missing. As well as my cell phone is missing because the federal court in Burlington kept it and never gave it back to me when I filed the lawsuits back on November 4th of 2019. So, along with that, Vermont State Police, knowing that my trailer and my car came up missing off the property that I resided on knowingly, and I had power utilities on. I was stuck out of state during the pandemic at the beginning of 2020 until July 2020 because nobody would assist me, and now I know why. They took my house and my car, which had my whole life, all my personal identification and everything. You know what Vermont State Police tells me, and I have the emails to share with you? McKenna tells me he's not going to do anything about it. It's a civil matter. Theft isn't civil. So I believe, without a doubt, that Vermont State Police perhaps are involved in an organized crime that may be happening still against me. Now, mind you, I also reported to them about the mail being messed with, and then I had reported it, and I asked Robert McKenna, who is at Internal Affairs in Vermont State Police for Waterbury building, headquarters, wherever, and he told me on the phone that he wasn't going to do anything about it. I said, you're not going to do anything about my house trailer and my car being missing? He said, no, it was a civil matter. Theft is not a civil matter. That's all my personal identification. Why would the Vermont State Police even claim it to that? So then we go back to the original officer on that, who was Sean Brennan. Sean Brennan has a history, and that history involves the fact that he's been suspended before from the Vermont State Police. For what purposes? I've asked for records. Nobody will give them to me. I only see what I see in the newspaper, but I've asked for records, copies of the complaints that I've made against these troopers, and they don't supply them. So Sean Brennan says that he tried to contact me. He didn't try to contact me about my house, trailer, and car. So it came into months and I'm still trying to contact the Vermont State Police. It wasn't until I got assistance from a SEVCA worker down in Westminster who initiated emails and calls as well, and they finally got on it. But they weren't doing it for me, and it was my house trailer and my car. So me being the complainant, why did I have to have somebody else do the work? That's not fair. I'm a taxpayer. I am a citizen of the United States, and I am a Vermont resident. Excuse me. I'd also like to know why that I filed November. I requested the paperwork, and it was put in the newspaper that I was running to be State Representative 2020. 3 days later, the mailman was sending mail back with a sticker on it to federal court that I had previously filed in. 3 days later, from it being in the newspaper, folks, saying that I was running for state representative, and in the same write-up being about a filing in federal court. And underneath the picture on the front page is a courtesy Kim Crossan for State Representative 2020. So knowing that my mail started getting diverted, I didn't know that until I went to the federal court and they gave me copies of what they got back with stickers on it. I looked at the dates and here it is. 3 days after it's in the newspaper, my mail's getting returned to sender, no forwarding address. So I go to the Vermont State Police about that. You know what McKenna tells me? It's not going to do anything about it. You know what the rest of them tell me? Not going to do anything about it. Vermont Law School, William Sheets, he said, oh, send me your email, send me whatever you've got. I sent it all to him. Now, I've also sent it to our Attorney General, TJ Donovan. So that's why he's listed, is because TJ is the overseer of the Vermont State Police and all of the actions of everybody. Okay. Why has he not adhered to this mission statement? Not only this mission statement for the Vermont State Police, but we're going to discuss in another video TJ Donovan's mission statement as Attorney General. So knowing that he's supposed to be for us, me being a victim of a crime and complaining to him, and he's not doing anything about it, he's violating my rights. Violation of constitutional rights, human rights, civil rights, Vermont constitutional rights, all of my rights, and my dog's rights. So, Birmingham, Matthew Birmingham, he didn't do anything about it either. I went up the chain of commands. Heidi Storm, you didn't do anything about it either. I've asked you for the records, and you have not sent them to me. So, you're included in the lawsuit, ma'am. Hugh O'Donnell, you didn't do anything either, sir. You're listed in the lawsuit. So knowing that your chain of commands and none of you want to let anybody know what's going on out here, I take it upon myself because I have the right to let people know, and rightfully people have that right to know what's going on, what their tax dollars are being spent on, and why the lawsuits throughout the state of Vermont against officials, agents, agencies, and the government. And Phil Scott, you're included in that too. Oh yes, Bernie Sanders, you're included in that too. Mr. Peter Welch, you're included in that too. Don't believe for a minute, Patrick Leahy, that I forget about you, because you're included in that too. Gail Ireland, you're included in that as well. And Graham, sir, Patrick Leahy's office, secretary, whatever you are, you're included in that too. Amy Passari Leclerc, due to the fact that you lied and caused me personal injury, you're included in that as well. You were not supposed to contact me. You were told do not contact me. You violated that. And any and all other troopers that are not named, including the Sheriff's Department, Essex County, Trevor Colby, we'll talk about him later, but there's a personal lawsuit being filed against him as well as Essex County, and to include Jeff Noyce's wife, I believe she is, the dispatcher, and perhaps maybe even Jeff's daughter that I believe I heard is the state trooper that, oh, and well, we're going to just include all of them that violated my constitutional rights and caused me great hardships: medical, emotional, mental, physical distress. You're all named, and there's more to come. So, yes, I filed against TJ Donovan himself because he's the head of this. He's the ringleader of them all. He's in charge. He's the one that should be making sure that I, as a resident and a citizen, but knowing that state of Vermont, women are not recognized very much. We're discriminated against. That's a fact. I need not say anymore. But I wanted to share with you about the Vermont State Police, why their lawsuits. Oh, yes. Let's not forget Real Robillard, who was the Vermont State Police detective. He's named in this as well because he caused me personal injury when he had my kids in his custody. Why? Why'd you have my kids? What interest did you have in my daughters? Were you sexually molesting my children? Ooh, did you conspire a story to take my children? Real Robillard? And your wife, Miriam, who we already know lied and lied and lied and lied and lied. So yeah, you two are also noted on your own lawsuits, just like Jeffrey Hare and his wife, Mary Hare. More to come. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and I hope you all do as well. Thank you for watching, and if you all have had serious situations with the Vermont State Police or any of the law enforcement, government, anybody, any of these agencies out here, I ask you to contact me, and I will help you. Thanks. Have a great day.